For the past 10 to 15 years, I used LinkedIn as a platform to stay in touch with my international contacts. So when I was a minion of 22, I interned for 3 months in New York, and Facebook was just coming up. Adds a sound of dinosaurs screaming in the back. So I decided to add my New York contacts to my LinkedIn Rolodex. And this was exactly what it was, actually, a Rolodex. And throughout the years, I've actively added people that I know to my network, right up until the point that I hit about 2,300 followers and connections this spring. So, and it was at this spring of this year that I noticed a change in the conversation on LinkedIn. So to be sure, this year is 2022. I'm recording this on November 1st. And so I noticed a change in the conversation on LinkedIn. It wasn't anymore like, yay, I got a new job, or look at this big client I landed, or humble brag, I want to thank this. But it was more and more about professional development, free business advice. But the difference with Instagram and TikTok is that it's with genuine profiles of real people. And, those client wins and those career wins are still being shared. And I believe, that will slowly disappear. But anyway, I decided to jump in on the bandwagon. And now it's 3 months that I'm posting on LinkedIn every day. And I'm ready to show you my first results and advice I can give you so that you can also start your LinkedIn journey with a jolt and decide if you should invest the time and efforts. This is Big Business with Sarah, the podcast for entrepreneurs who want to continue building their business and understand you should never stop learning. So I want to start right off by saying that I believe LinkedIn is ideal for people with a lot of work or business experience specialized in business to business. So what do I mean with a lot? I believe 10 to 15 years of business or work experience is really, going to help you because you may or may not have build a strong network around you. But I specifically believe the quality of output is much better on LinkedIn than on other platforms. By the way, Twitter is also a great platform. Recently, I think it was 5 days ago when I'm recording this, Elon Musk bought Twitter, so we're not really sure what's going to happen. We know that he has a specific idea on, having the platform more democratized. I don't really have an opinion about this, but I think it's very safe to say that LinkedIn is one of the last remaining networks that seems genuine. So it is possible, if you are business to consumer, so B2C, and, because, your consumers are also maybe people who work, maybe not. And also if you're not very experienced in your job or your business, it might be very good for you too. But it's just a first observation that I want to share with you, that what I believe is the, ideal client for LinkedIn. So since August 1st, I decided to post every day. I actually wanted to do it on September 1st, but then I thought, why should I wait? In the end, I believe, I'm always very much for fast action. I could have waited a little longer to actually have a strategy, but I just did it. And you know what? Sometimes that technique also works. So since August 1st, and it's now November 1st, I've increased my following with 15%. So this means that my impressions have tripled from about 50,000 impressions to 150,000 impressions right now. I have more than doubled my engagement from 314 to 1,112 to be exact engagement. I've added 350 new followers in 3 months, and I'm just getting started. And my profile views have more than doubled now to 1,000. And I've had countless conversations in the DMs. I've added 10 new clients in 3 months' time because of LinkedIn. And I've also had my biggest sales months coincidentally because of LinkedIn. I've also blocked two annoying people. I wanted to mention this as well. Sometimes people are just so annoying and, commenting. I've had one person who commented twice and it was the same thing. It was ridiculous and was, out of nothing. I don't know. So, you know what? I blocked them. And I've also had many messages, so many DMs of people saying they enjoyed my content and who want to work with me. And some people also told me in real life and said, "You're very active on LinkedIn." Yes, of course. So if I have all those 2,300 people, which I've met 10 to 15 years ago, or, over the past 10 to 15 years, some of them might not be that interested in my content anymore. I get that. You know what? You can still stay in connection and unfollow or mute someone. So, that's fine. It's up to me. And this might happen to you too. If you're thinking of starting this LinkedIn journey, some people will not like what you post, and that's totally fine. They are not your ideal client, but it doesn't mean that you don't have to post anything. So those were the numbers a little bit, but I wanted to share with you the bycatch that has really helped, LinkedIn really helped me in this. So the first thing is that I was very forced to work on my personal brands. And lucky me, I already was very much into visual communication because I've been active on Instagram since, really active on Instagram by posting every day for 1.5 years. So I was already quite experienced in creating content daily. And, this podcast exists from February on. So I know a thing or two. But because of Instagram is a very visual platform, I already worked on my personal brand. So my color is hot pink. And thanks to the Your Summer Reset branding, I also added, I don't know if you say it like this, pronounce it like this, aqua blue. It's a very beautiful blue. So those are my two colors. And, if you're talking about personal brand, but also personal brand is your personal story. And, I'm also going to share this in the tips later on how you can do that too. But actually, personal branding is so important. And even if you don't have a business and just have a career, which I think is amazing, if I believe that you're a very interesting candidate also for new jobs if you are working on your personal brand on LinkedIn. And it doesn't have to be, that you're being very opinionated about certain clients. No, you can be also very positive in your content and outputs. And I'm going to show you how. So the second step, and it's a little bit the same, going forward on what I just mentioned, is that you're allowing yourself to find your voice. So, the biggest danger is that you're going to look at very big content creators, which I'm going to mention soon, and that you're feeling like, yeah, but I don't know what to talk about. I'm just going to copy them because, I don't know if I'm really good. And actually, because you're posting every day, you are actually allowing yourself to find your voice. And I think that's one of the most magical things that happened to me. And I mentioned also before that the quality of conversation is much higher than on other platforms. So the third bycatch is that you have genuine conversations with experts in your field. This is something that I didn't really realize before I started. Because I'm posting every day, I get responses, I get DMs. Sometimes the conversation continues in the DMs, or maybe sometimes I even have online meetings with people, just to get to know them a little bit better, if there is a click and see, if we could do something together or not. But, just to get to know someone a little bit better. And you know what? I actually made quite some online friends. And if you're listening to this, you know who you are. Sorry. I love making this, because LinkedIn could be seen as quite a dorky platform. And I've always been very into dorky things. So yay for that. So if you're listening, you know who you are. So the fourth bycatch for me was that you know much better what your ideal client desires. So, because I would see in the responses and the reactions and the comments from people who were asking questions or in the DMs. It was very easy for me to dissect exactly. Okay, you know what? This is their question. So that helped me again to create better content and better offers. And the fifth bycatch was that I was getting inspired by others, because I was looking also at how other creators are doing it. And, I think also my Instagram game has really I really stepped up that game too, because of LinkedIn, because the quality is so much higher. So I think it's a win-win-win for me. So if you're thinking, after listening to this small, as well as a numbers result as other, branding results, etc. And if you do want to increase your following and number of clients too, then I suggest you follow these steps. And I'm just going to see how many steps I have, because I have my notes. Yes, 7 steps. So how to get started. So I first started following some Dutch people. You know that I'm from the Netherlands. You can probably hear it from my accent. And sometimes when I'm really looking for words, I'm probably, kind of de-Englifying or de-Dutchifying some English words. Anyway, so I first started following some Dutch people that I believed to have good content. So one person, I can mention 20 people right now, but I want to mention someone especially, and that is Edwin Dijkstra, who also recently published a very insightful book. It's called Super Freelancer. It's written only in Dutch. I might translate it too. And actually, this was one of the first top creators in the field that I followed. And, starting from him, I started following more and more people because they were commenting and he was commenting. Blah, blah. And now I'm also following more people from the UK and the US. So, as I mentioned before, I'm Dutch, and you're noticing that I'm trying to speak English at least, because I love to communicate in English with my audience, not just because I like the language, but also because I really like the international exchange. By the way, I've mentioned this at the beginning of the podcast, is that I've interned in New York in the beginning of my career. I was still a student, actually. I did that internship during my studies. And that's where, and when I realized that, I thought, you know what, I really want to keep on working internationally, because it inspires me so much, because, you have such cultural differences, you learn so much more from others. And so I'm very happy that I'm implying this in my business right now. So that's why I'm speaking in English. I'm also writing in English on LinkedIn. But, if you're Dutch, or maybe if you're listening to this, in your own mother tongue language, maybe you're German, maybe you're French, you can write in your own language. You can actually create a big following in your own language. Most people actually are much more comfortable in that, but I really like to have that international vibe. So that's why I speak English. Anyway. So then I started following people from the UK and the US, and the biggest example right here is Justin Welsh. He is one of the top creators on LinkedIn. He's on all those top 100s and 200s. He's on number 1. And I would definitely suggest to start with following some top creators of the platforms. And maybe you like to follow a very good copywriter, then maybe think of Dickie Bush, and maybe someone who is very good at sales, and then kind of, see in your field what works best. But do not forget to follow the smaller creators as well. And maybe they are at your same level, or maybe 1 or 2 steps further than you. Or maybe even start a small accountability group with them to motivate and inspire each other. I didn't do that, but if it helps you, go for it. I know that there's many groups doing this. So try to diversify a little bit, the people that you follow, and see what they do. So the second step is how to decide what to write about. I would suggest at first to start writing about 1 or 2 different topics and then build from there. So for instance, I started with sales and business mindset. but now I'm broadening it to a lot more. So try to find content creators that you like and see them, see how they can inspire you. It can inspire you without copying them, but see, what works with them, and then, try to mold it in a way that it works for your content too. And maybe you can also follow someone, who's not, in your field, but that you can get a lot of inspiration from, so that nobody notices that there's some overlap there. Don't copy, but just, get the inspiration there. So I'm currently writing posts literally every day because I'm used to creating content for 1.5 years now, and I have so much up my sleeve. But, staring at the blank page before you is never a nice feeling. So be sure to have some backups of, topics that you want to talk about in your Notion, Asana, or notes on your phone. So, if you're not very used to creating content daily, I would really suggest that you just write down topics and kind of outlines of what you want to talk about. And you can also plan for them too. I don't do it, but you can do that definitely. And there's so many programs you can use. So the third step is how to find your tone of voice. So mostly I believe, this is just a general observation that I can do after 3 months, is that positive solutions posts are the most popular. So, for instance, stating the problem of your ideal client, saying why it's a problem, saying you can solve it, and then showing them the solutions are the most popular posts, in my opinion. Yes, you can write your opinions on every topic to show your expert status, and you can be, very critical, but try to find the voice that suits you, and don't try to think also what your ideal clients wants to hear. So, for instance, I want people to feel comfortable and that they can trust me, because unfortunately, in the world of business coaches, not everyone is being too positive about my fellow coaches. So what I want is to build trust, because, I know that I'm, the best business coach in the world, and I can show people by, sharing valuable business advice that they can trust. So for me to be very opinionated and to be very snarky probably is not going to meet that goal. The fourth step you can take is experiment and mix posts with images, graphs, carousels, or text only. So sometimes I've noticed in the past 3 months that the post with a personal picture from me, selfie, or maybe of a certain thing that I want to talk about works best, or a personal story. But I honestly don't want people to follow me for that reason, or I don't want people to work with me for that reason only. I want them to follow me and work with me because of my expert advice. So I decided to share some light content during the weekends and interesting business advice Monday till Friday. So I kind of separated that for myself. The fifth step that you can take, and it's a very short advice, is that I hardly used tags like business or marketing or sales or coach for coach, I don't know. And I never put a link in the post. I always put it in the first comment. This is just something, I just blindly follow everyone in this respect. This is something that some people do actually. But I believe, that those posts really don't work well. So I put the link in the first comment if I have a call to action. Do I believe as a content creator that you should always have a call to action? No. I think you should apply the 80-20 rule. So 80% of content and 20% of those contents can have a call to action. People are not stupid anymore. And they've never been stupid, by the way, but also the clients, the consumers have evolved. So if people really want to work with you, they will find your website. Don't worry about that. Yes, you have to talk about your offer, but make it 20% of your content and not more. Sixth step I want you to take is have a clear idea of what time you want to post. Or if you're deciding not to post every day, you don't have to post every day, by the way. You can also post 3 times a week. But, have a clear idea, a very set schedule on when you're going to post. So in August, I posted every morning between 7 and 8 a.m. And in September and October, I tried different tactics, different times, but that completely messed up my algorithm. So I'm going to stick to 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. I want to post twice a day now, starting from next week. But, just have a very clear, schedule of at that time I'm going to post. Because then people can, have a look at your profile and they know that they can count on you. And yeah, I'm doing this too with other creators, and I was very unfaithful to my followers for the past month, especially. So that's going to be better. And then I saved the best for last. Tip 7 is the biggest trick, which you cannot plan for, is to comment on people every day. And this is the interesting, but also a little bit the annoying part. Yes, you can have great content, but if you're not driving people to your profile, you will hear crickets. So how did I, do this? How did I kind of prevent this? I created a list of people I follow on Airtable, which is my spreadsheet documents. I love it. So that I can see what they post and comment every day, because I do like to engage with them. And because I'm using this system, this is not costing me too much time. And maybe you're thinking, oh, she's a freak. She's really weird that she's doing that. Yes, but I mean, I like to engage with the people I like to follow. I think there's about 50 people on right now. And, sometimes, people disappear from the list. I don't want to follow them anymore because I don't like their content. Yeah. So, and one last thing I want to say is that, and whilst commenting, do not commit the ultimate sin to promote your own products at some other creator's profile. Cringe. I mean, don't. I see this happen all the time. And, your comment has to be good, and it has to, let people click on your profile. You have to have a great headline. I didn't even talk about those things. Have a great picture with lovely colors, bright pictures where you smile in your picture. Have a great header. Have a great headline that is very clear about what you're about. So mine is podcaster and business coach. And do not say, you know what? I created so someone is talking about marketing and someone is commenting, I'm not talking that much about marketing. So someone is commenting in my post, you know what? I created a 7-step marketing program and it costs only €999. I'm like, go away from my comment. Actually, this has never happened to me, unfortunately, maybe because I'm not interesting enough yet. But I've seen this happen and I think it's very cringy. Okay, so how do I continue? I'm giving myself 2 more months to finding my exact voice and niche for LinkedIn. And to do so, I am diving deeper into the pains of my ideal clients. So I just keep on going, keep on listening, keep on seeing what people respond, and see what they need and what can I offer. I'm also going to experiment with video. I already said that after 1 month on LinkedIn, but I will challenge myself. If you want to join, you can DM me. You can find me, by the way, on Sarah Berkenkamp with BERCKENKAMP. And I'm going to also work with graphs and carousels and tags to see what works best. Carousels, I don't know. There are so many carousels happening on LinkedIn. I haven't used them yet. But you know what? I have so many carousels actually from Instagram, so I might just use those. And also, I have to find a planning tool. I mean, I sort of have a note on my phone. I have a Notion right now and saying on which day I'm going to talk about what. And I do have a plan, but actually it's a mess. Just got to be very honest. So Posting every morning can be very exhausting, especially if I'm just saying right now that I'm going to post every day at 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. I mean, there needs to be a system, so I'm working on that. And so I did have a system for Instagram, so I do have one, and I know exactly how it works. So yeah. All right. So that wraps up my advice and plans for LinkedIn for today. We spoke about your possible results after posting on 3 months on LinkedIn. I'm very curious if you're also going to do it. Send me a message if you're up for it, and I might cheer for you at the sidelines. And what you can do to start with a jolt, decide what to write about, how to find your tone of voice, experiment with different kinds of posts, having a daily routine of posting, and how to attract more people by engaging with others every day. And creating content which converts is, I believe, one of the most interesting things to invest in as a business owner. And I have created a training for you for only 33 euros so that you can see my exact method and how I come up with content each and every day. And I'm also talking about some things about systems that I'm using for the other social platforms that I'm using. You can subscribe to the waitlist for the Converting Content training. The sales page is getting ready right now, so you will be the first to know. Thank you so much for listening, and see you next week.